Carlos Moreira is founder and chairman of WiseKey. Now, I know some of people already came up to me and said, you got a guy from whiskey with you. No, that's WiseKey, not whiskey. WIS standing for World Internet Security. His company works with and advises football clubs around the globe, and he'll tell you about what he's doing and how and why and whether it's working. Carlos, in your experience, let's just what is the football industry doing well, and what is it doing badly?
I think one of the things they are doing well is to use the power of social media and platforms to reach out to their fans. One thing they are doing bad is making no money out of that and letting the companies like Facebook, Twitter to make all the money. We are in a situation, and this is where my company is doing, on where clubs do not know anymore who their fans are. Facebook knows them, not the club. And we have to define what success means. If I am Ronaldo, success is that I have 90 million fans in Facebook. The success is for Facebook to have 90 million fans of Ronaldo in the Facebook platform. Ronaldo doesn't make any money out of that. So what we are doing is teaching clubs to monetize their fans base. And that applies not only to clubs, but also to celebrities. That applies to players, that applies to coaches, people that they have a huge fans database, but do not know how to reach them directly. Now, there's a technology which has been there for a while, and this is what my company does, and now we are applying to football, which is digital identification. A strong authentication of user that you can put on mobile phones, you can put in devices. Now, when you give an identity to your fan and you're a club, you establish a one-to-one relation with that fan. That obviously is downloaded through an app, and then the fan can follow all the interactions of the club. With the new technology, NFC now is being embedded in all the phones. You can use that identity to access the stadiums. Inside the stadium, you can vote online, you can bet online, you can do all the interactions you want, but it's the stadium and the club that controls 100% the interactions with the fan. And obviously, if the fan later wants to go to Twitter and Facebook and single sign on with whatever platform, they can still do, but it is the club which owns their fans. And this is the power of soccer. Soccer is very emotional, as you know, and if I am a fan of a soccer team, I will in priority want to use the identity issued by my soccer team than anything else. So obviously, companies like MasterCard, Visa, all of them, they are coming to the clubs and say, can we get connected to your CRM through those identities? So I think we have to be very careful what we say success on social media. I don't think clubs are successful at all. I think they are missing the point. I think the point is for them to regain back again their user base.
Well, we're going to come back to some of those points a little later.
So fully aligned to what just been said. Just a very concrete case. We are helping FC Barcelona. FC Barcelona has about 200 million Chinese fans, and they like the club, but they don't have any relation with Facebook because Facebook is forbidden in China and Google is forbidden in China. So they are trying to get into that data, and this is a huge opportunity, by the way, from clubs, and they want to reach out China, and the only way to reach out China is through your own app. Now, if that app downloads an identity, which is the fan identity, and we have to be very clear that what Facebook and Google are identity companies. They are collecting behavior data, predictivity, everything they collect becomes you, and you is monetized by them many times. So if the club reaches out with its own identity to their fans in countries like China, you might end up with a download base of 300 million Chinese that then download your app. Now, WhatsApp was sold to, for $16 billion to Facebook for 450 million downloads. So having a huge base, as main club have, is a huge monetization capability. But it's just not being clear. The problem we are facing inside the clubs is that the media departments of those clubs are totally blind to traditional monetization of media strategy. They will be rewarded by getting a page in Facebook page with 10 million fans. And that they will be their only reward they will get. But what about if they download 10 million apps with a digital identity in a market like China? So we have to shift the mindset and focalize in serious revenue generation for clubs, which is based on their identities of fans.
That's very interesting.
We're helping everybody. I mean, the technology is there, has been there for many years. This is not a technology issue. Digital identification now is even being expanded to objects. We're going to be connecting 280 billion objects to the internet in the next 10 years. So that means the entire stadium is going to be interacted to the internet. Not only the players, but all the doors, the seats, the interactions of the stadiums. The stadiums are becoming platforms, content platforms. The royalty of that content generation, whether there are objects or people, interactions, and players, is massive. The technology is there. People do not understand that identity is the underlying technology on the World Wide Web. I mean, all those social media companies are sitting on the web. The web was invented in Geneva, where it's where I come from, and from that point we realized that one day, if we start to use the World Wide Web as a transactional media, which is not the case now, the web will be totally disruptive and will create a lot of value. But before you do that, you need to have identities. And before you have identities, you have to reach out your fans. So the way we do is very simple. You just, if you are My Madrid app owner, or if you have the FC Barcelona or Flamengo in Brazil, we ask them to issue an identity through an app to all their players. So they download, the players download the app, the players interact through the app, and the fans do the same thing. So you create a B2C and a C2C relation, and that becomes then viral immediately. So you will start to realize then one day you have 2 million downloads, the next week you have 20 million downloads, and then you create what you call an ecosystem. The moment you are an ecosystem, then you are a football club ecosystem, then you can start monetize. Everybody will knock your doors. Media companies would like to talk to you. Adidas or Nike would like to talk to you because they would like to interconnect their merchandising sites to that identity. You will have airline companies and they would like to transfer your fans from one place to another. Once you build your ecosystem, you are in business. The problem is that clubs do not have ecosystem. They have websites. Some of them they are moving to media hubs, but none of them they are building an ecosystem. For that, you need an identity.